You understand English, but you still can't speak. Are you ready to learn how to finally speak? Well then, I'm teacher Tiffani. Let's jump right in. Step number 1, receptive activation. In other words, waking up your passive vocabulary. What does this actually mean? You see, your brain stores thousands upon thousands of English words that you recognize when you hear them, but can't access when speaking. This is your receptive vocabulary. Words locked in passive storage. The key is, my friend, activating these dormant words so they become available for real-time conversation. Think about it. You've watched a television program. You've listened to a podcast. You've watched a movie. All of these vocabulary words have come in and now they are a part of your receptive vocabulary. How can you access them? This is step 1, accessing this vocabulary. Why is this so powerful? Reason number 1, why receptive activation, activating those passive vocabulary words is so powerful. You already know more than you think. Your passive vocabulary, my friend, is 3 to 4 times larger than your active vocabulary. Listen to me, I love this. As an English learner, there are certain words that you like using, right, when you're speaking. And sometimes you even get frustrated because you feel like you're using the same words over and over again. Well, your receptive vocabulary actually includes 3 to 4 times more than the actively used vocabulary words. So unlocking it will instantly help you as you're speaking English. In other words, unlocking it instantly expands what you can say without learning new words. Here's reason number 2 why this is so powerful. Recognition comes before production. You see, your brain needs to retrieve words quickly under pressure. Activation training creates faster neural pathways from thought to speech. The more you train yourself to access these vocabulary words, the easier it will be in the future for you to use them in real situations. The third reason why receptive activation breaks the fluency blocker and helps you is you eliminate the retrieval gap. The pause you experience when speaking is your brain searching for words. Pre-activating vocabulary eliminates this search time. So again, we're on step 1, helping you finally use the words and not just recognize them. The third reason is you eliminate this retrieval gap. When you're speaking and there's this long pause, we want to eliminate that. So now the question is, how can you actually implement this step? Here we go. Our first application, again, 5 ways to activate your receptive vocabulary. The vocabulary words that have been stored in your brain, the passive vocabulary. Here's method number 1. Rapid word association games. So I want you to either get your cell phone, get your watch, or whatever device has a timer on it. And I want you to set the timer for 60 seconds and then say as many related words as possible for a topic. For example, let's say the topic is travel. You start your 60-second timer and you say every word that comes to mind related to travel. Car, plane, train, any word related to travel. Commute, commuter. Repeat this daily with different topics to strengthen word retrieval speed. Remember, we're talking about retrieving the words that are already in your brain. You're trying to activate them. Here's method number 2. Method number 2 is reverse dictionary practice. Reverse. All right, this is a good one. Reverse dictionary practice. You're going to describe objects without naming them. This is actually one of the popular games here in America, like Taboo. You describe something and try to get your team members to tell you what you're describing. You're going to do this for your vocabulary. So describe objects without naming them. Then force yourself to recall the exact word. For example, The thing you use to put two sheets of paper together so that they don't get pulled apart. A stapler. You see how I had to use other words to describe what a stapler is? This, my friend, will train word retrieval under pressure. Make sense? Excellent. All right, so method 2 again is reverse dictionary practice. Method number 3, again, we're still on step 1, helping you finally use the words, helping you finally speak English and not just recognize. We're on receptive activation. Now we have the third way you can actually start doing this. Read aloud with summarization. Let me explain. I want you to read an article, then immediately summarize it out loud without looking. This forces your brain to convert receptive input into productive output instantly. When you're reading, you're taking in a lot of information. As soon as you turn that article over, as soon as you finish reading the article, now summarize it. Your brain goes into overdrive. Wait a minute, you need us to do something. Okay, you're putting it out immediately. So the third method is read aloud with summarization. Method number 4, vocabulary activation sheets. Let me explain. You're going to write down 20 words you recognize but never use. Again, 20 words you recognize. When you hear them, you know what they mean. When somebody else says them, you know what they're saying, but you don't use the words. Write these 20 words down, and then each day, listen closely, my friend, each day create 3 original sentences with each word, here's the key, out loud. It's not just about writing them down, the sentences. You want to read them out loud. Why? This moves words from passive to active storage. These words are no longer just to be in the background. You want to use them. So say the sentences out loud. Method number 4, vocabulary activation sheets. And then method number 5, shadowing with gap filling. Again, shadowing with gap filling. Let me explain. Listen to English content, pause randomly, and continue the sentence yourself with your own words. Right now, you are listening to me. You are watching me if you're on YouTube, and you're following along. What you're going to do is watch English content, listen to English content, and then randomly pause, and then try to finish the statements. Try to guess what's coming next. You see, this practice involves retrieving similar vocabulary spontaneously. Remember, we're trying to activate a part of your brain that has become dormant because you're not using those vocabulary words. You're trying to activate them. Make sense? Excellent. All right, so again, the 5th method is shadowing with gap filling. All right, so again, first step is receptive activation, and you've learned 5 methods for this receptive activation. There are 3 more steps that are important to help you finally not just understand English, but speak English. Let's move on now to our second step. Our second step is motor programming. In other words, training your mouth muscles for English. Let me break this down. Speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords, they need muscle memory for English sounds and word combinations. Understanding doesn't train these muscles, just taking information in or reading information. This doesn't train the muscles. Only speaking practice does. This is why, my friend, you can understand perfectly, but still freeze when trying to talk. So the second step is motor programming. Now, I want to explain 3 reasons why this is the case. Reason number 1, why motor programming creates speaking fluency. Why this is going to transform your English. Number 1, speaking requires physical automation. Your mouth needs to repeat English sounds and words many times before they become automatic. If I were to ask you right now, hey, what's your name? You'd spit it out. If I were to ask you, hey, how old are you? You'd spit it out. Even if I were to say, hey, how long have you been studying English? you could spit it out automatically. You've practiced giving those answers. Just like learning to play an instrument, your speaking muscles need regular training to move smoothly and quickly. Here's reason number 2. You build speech momentum. You see, fluent speakers don't think about mouth movements. I'm not thinking about how my mouth is moving right now. Why? Because I've been doing this motor programming my entire life, because English is my first language. Motor programming creates automatic physical responses that keep speech flowing without conscious control. This is what we're doing for you. This is why step number 2 is motor programming, helping you do the same thing that native speakers do. Reason number 3, you eliminate articulation anxiety. Think about it. Sometimes when you go to speak, you get nervous because you're not sure if you're articulating properly, right? When your mouth muscles are trained, speaking feels physically easy. This removes the fear that blocks spontaneous speech. Makes sense, right? So now you're understanding why motor programming step 2 is important. But now you need to understand, how can you actually practice this? There are 5 ways. Now, before I give you those 5 ways, I do want to remind you that this lesson is being brought to you by my course, the 365-Day English Study Plan. Each day of the year for 365 days, I have a lesson prepared for you. Everything is organized. You can enroll by going to speakenglishwithtiffani.com/365plan. Once again, everything is organized for you. All you have to do is go to www.speakenglishwithtiffani.com/365plan, enroll today, and start studying to go from the intermediate to the advanced level. Now, let's look at these applications, all right? Again, we're looking at step number 2, motor programming. 5 ways to develop your English motor programming. Step number 2, but method number 1 is daily articulation drills. So practice tongue twisters and difficult English sound combinations for 5 minutes daily. Focus on speed and smoothness. For example, she sells seashells, or red lorry, yellow lorry, all right? So this is something you have to practice. It's interesting because right now I had a dental procedure done about a week and a half ago, so my mouth is not feeling as comfortable as it usually does. So you may notice, you may not notice, but I'm speaking a little bit differently. My mouth feels a little different because I had a dental procedure. So even as I'm saying this to you, yeah, the more you practice, the more you do these articulation drills, the more comfortable you'll be. I'm experiencing it right now. All right, so number 1 is daily articulation drills. 5 minutes a day, practice saying something over and over again. Number 2, again, ways you can apply this. Number 2 is marathon speaking sessions. Listen closely. Speak English continuously for 3 to 5 minutes. Set a 3-minute or 4-minute or 5-minute timer, and I want you to speak without stopping. Even if you make mistakes, keep talking, just keep going. Talk about anything, your day, your opinions, describe your surroundings. This builds physical speaking endurance. You're just giving your mouth an opportunity to practice moving and speaking English. Here's method number 3. Mimic native speakers' mouth movements. Watch close-up videos, right? Zoom in, right? Of native speakers and copy their exact lip and jaw movements. Practice saying the same sentences while matching their physical articulation. When I teach students in my academy how to properly pronounce certain words, I'll make a diagram, or I'll draw a picture of my mouth, of my tongue position, my throat, my teeth, everything to help them understand how to properly articulate a word or a phrase. So number 3, method 3 is mimic native speakers' mouth movements. Method number 4 is a good one. Record and compare mouth sounds. So record yourself saying sentences, then compare with native speakers. Focus on physical sound production, not just pronunciation, but how the words physically flow together. You're really honing in. You're focusing on, hey, how can I make this sound properly? How do native speakers make this sound? What does their mouth look like? All right? And method number 5, again, speaking about motor programming, method number 5 is speed ramping practice. Let me explain. Start speaking about a topic at normal speed, then gradually increase to 1.5 times that speed. This forces your mouth muscles to automate movements instead of consciously controlling each sound. You just got to speed up. Don't worry about mistakes. Just getting this practice of speaking over and over and over again. So, step number 2 again, motor programming. 5 ways to develop English motor programming. We spoke about those. This leads us to our 3rd step, again, helping you not just understand English, but finally speak as well. Step number 3 is spontaneous formulation. In other words, creating English sentences in real time. Let's break this down. Spontaneous formulation. You see, native speakers don't plan sentences in advance. We honestly, create them spontaneously as we talk. Your brain needs to practice real-time sentence construction without the safety of preparation time. This is the critical skill that separates understanding from speaking. Again, our lesson today is all about why you can understand but have problems speaking. Step number 3, spontaneous formulation. Practicing, hey, how can I just respond spontaneously and not have to sit back and prepare all the time? Why is this so important? Before we get into the actual application, here's the first reason, again, why spontaneous formulation unlocks speaking ability. Here's reason number 1. Conversation doesn't wait. You see, real conversations require immediate responses. Spontaneous formulation trains your brain to construct sentences under time pressure without freezing. Reason number 2, you develop English thought patterns. You see, planning sentences in your head uses your native language structure. Spontaneous practice forces your brain to think in English patterns directly. You don't have time to translate in your mind. No, just spit out whatever's inside. Get the English out. And step number 3, or reason number 3, is you build confidence under pressure. The fear of speaking comes from not trusting your ability to form sentences quickly. I'm going to say this again. The fear of speaking comes from not trusting your ability to form sentences correctly. This training, however, proves you can speak without preparation. This is something, before we get to the applications, this is something that I tell my students all the time. You are smarter than you realize. You have all that you need. You have so much information in your head. I have students who have been studying for years and they still feel shy when they first come to me. But I remind them, hey, you're amazing. Just feel confident. And all of a sudden, what was passively in the background now comes to the foreground. They're able to speak. They're able to have this confidence. They're able to practice, and they're able to speak without translating. So here are the 5 applications. Application number 1, again, 5 ways to master spontaneous English formulation. Step number 1, or method number 1, 3-second response challenge. Listen closely. I want you to watch English interview videos. Pause before the interviewing person, or before the person answers or responds to the interviewer. Pause before they answer. And give yourself only 3 seconds to start responding out loud. Give your answer. 3 seconds though. Not 10, not 5, 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then answer. No planning, just speak immediately. You just need to practice this. So, method number 1, 3-second response challenge. Here is method number 2. Random topic speaking. Use a random word generator on Google, online, you can find one. Or pick objects around you. Any object you have. This is my remote for my fan. Here's a pen. Here's a sticky notes, Post-its. Pick a random object and give yourself 5 seconds to start talking about that topic. But I want you to speak about it for 60 seconds without stopping or planning. These methods are going to push you more than you realize, but they're going to also help you more than you realize. So method 2, random topic speaking. Method number 3, interrupt your thoughts. Throughout the day, I want you to stop whatever you're thinking and immediately narrate in English out loud. Stop whatever you're thinking about. You might be thinking your own language. Stop and narrate out loud in English. You see, this trains the spontaneous translation of thoughts into English speech. You don't need anyone around you. You can practice even when you're alone. So, method 3, interrupt your thoughts. Method number 4, live commentary practice. Commentate on what you're doing in real time, like a sports announcer. Now I'm opening the door, walking to the kitchen, I'm about to make coffee. This builds continuous, spontaneous speech. It's going to feel weird at first, but trust me, it's going to have such an effect on your ability to speak English with confidence. And method number 5, question ambush training. Again, question ambush training. In other words, have someone, or you can use an app, ask you random questions with zero warning, out of the blue. Answer immediately without pausing to think. Just start talking. Focus on starting to speak within 2 seconds, even if it's imperfect. Now, these are 5 methods, right? You can do all of them, or you can pick ones that you like. But again, we're trying to get you to have spontaneous responses. So, step number 3 is spontaneous formulation. This leads us to step number 4. Error tolerance development. In other words, reprogramming your fear of mistakes. Remember, we're talking about the fact that you can understand but can't speak. Step number 4 is helping you become more tolerant of your errors. Let me break this down. The biggest blocker between understanding and speaking is perfectionism. Your brain freezes because it's trying to produce perfect, error-free English. Native speakers make mistakes constantly. You need to train your brain that making mistakes while communicating is normal and acceptable. This is so important. It's a mindset shift that will transform your English fluency. Let me give you 3 more reasons why this is true. Again, why error tolerance, being okay with making errors, eliminates the speaking block and helps you finally speak English more fluently. Reason number 1, perfectionism actually creates paralysis. When your brain demands perfect output, it blocks imperfect words from coming out. Accepting imperfection removes the mental barrier that stops you from speaking. When you accept it, all of a sudden there's no fear, like, hey, it's gonna happen, it's totally okay. The fear goes away. Reason number 2, communication trumps accuracy. You see, understanding happens even with mistakes. Error tolerance lets you prioritize getting your message across over grammatical perfection, which is what native speakers actually do. Get our message across. We communicate. We might make some errors, mistakes. It doesn't matter. Did you understand what I said? Perfect. Focusing on communication. And reason number 3, you build speaking momentum. Once you start speaking without fear, your brain enters what we call a flow state. Mistakes become self-correcting as they keep talking, or as you keep talking, instead of stopping and restarting. The brain will just naturally start correcting you. Why? You've put the information in already. You've studied the grammar rules. You've entered tons of vocabulary words, expressions, idioms. The information is there. Now you just need to go into a flow state and let it come out. So how? How can you do this? Here are 5 methods. Method number 1, again, 5 ways to build error tolerance and speak freely. Method number 1, stream of consciousness speaking. Speak your thoughts out loud in English continuously for 2 minutes. Set a 2-minute timer without filtering and without organizing them first. Let sentences be messy and incomplete. This trains your brain to prioritize expression over perfection. I know it sounds weird. I know you're like, Tiffani, you're an English teacher. Are you telling me to make mistakes? Yes. Why? Our goal is to help you not just understand English, but finally speak English. And the barrier that's blocking it is perfectionism. The barrier is fear. The barrier is concern. I want to take that away. Here is method number 2. Method number 2 is no editing speaking rule. Listen closely. Record yourself speaking for 5 minutes. That's right, 5 minutes without stopping, restarting, or correcting yourself. Hit record and just talk for 5 minutes. Whatever comes out, comes out. Listen back though, and notice how much you actually communicated despite the errors. Don't focus on the errors, focus on what you were able to communicate. Here's method number 3. Quantity over quality challenges. So I want you to set a goal to speak English for 30 minutes daily, prioritizing volume over perfection. In a 24-hour period, you need to speak for 30 minutes. Track how many minutes you spoke, not how well you spoke. How many minutes you spoke, not how well you spoke. Method number 4, public speaking exposure therapy. Let me break this down. So you're going to join English conversation groups or do social media videos in English, right? If you don't have access to native speakers in your country, that's fine. Go online. Regular exposure, regular exposure to making mistakes publicly rewires your anxiety response. When you start making mistakes in front of others and realize it's not the end of the world, all of a sudden your fear starts to decrease. Your anxiety starts to go down. Your nervousness starts to disappear. So again, public speaking exposure therapy. And method number 5, reframe, change your self-talk. The way you talk to yourself in your mind. When you make mistakes, consciously, I want you to say, that's how learning works. Don't say, I'm not smart enough. Someone's better than me. I keep making mistakes. No, I want you to say, that's how learning works. Instead of criticizing yourself, stop criticizing yourself. You're amazing. You're learning another language. My friend, come on. You're awesome. Stop criticizing yourself. Train your brain to view errors as progress, not failure. Replace I'm bad at English with I'm building my English muscle. Change the way you speak to yourself. Makes sense, right? Excellent. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I really want you to realize that you can speak English. You understand and you'll be able to speak. I will talk to you in the next lesson, but don't forget, if you want to keep studying with me, all you have to do is go to www.speakenglishwithttiffani.com/365plan. I'll talk to you in the next lesson. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, hey, hey. I said it's story time. All right. This is a quick short story that's quite funny. I actually recently just went to Oregon to visit 2 of my best friends. And we were going to go on a glamping trip in Oregon. So I flew out to Oregon and we went on this trip, my 2 friends, and then the female sister and her husband. So there are 5 of us. And we decided that we were going to go and see the redwoods. I, being from Maryland, I had never been to the redwood forest. The trees, like the biggest trees, like they're huge. Some of them you can drive a car through, right? So they said, Tiff, we're going to take you to the redwood forest. I said, thank you, appreciate it. So we drove about 2 hours from where we were staying to get to these trees, to the forest. So just to give you a heads up, so I am an African-American woman. I live in Maryland. On the East Coast, there are many African-Americans. There are also a lot of African-Americans on the West Coast in certain parts. In Oregon, there are not that many African-Americans. There are some, but again, if you compare it to Maryland, the ratio, it's not even comparable, right? So I always have this running joke. Whenever I tell someone I'm going to Oregon, they're like, oh, okay, right? Because not a lot of African-Americans are there. Again, some are, I'm not saying zero, but not a lot. So anyways, we're in Oregon, and I stayed with them for maybe about 6 days, I think. And I can count on my hands how many African Americans I saw while I was there. This is why this is interesting. So anyways, we get to the redwood forest, and we get out of the car. We're going to see one of the largest trees in that part of the forest. So my friends are behind me, and I'm walking. And as I'm walking, I see an African American couple. Now, my first thought was, what y'all doing here? Because again, I hadn't seen that many African Americans. In my head, I said this as I'm walking up to them. Now, as I get closer to them, I notice that they're looking at me as well. And the closer we get, right, they're standing looking at me, and I'm walking towards them. They're standing in front of the tree. I'm starting to kind of like give a half smile, and they are also doing the same. I think it's a husband and a wife. So as soon as we get close, so African Americans, we have this kind of unspoken language. We hadn't said anything to each other, but we were looking at each other. So I get up to them, and the smile turned into a bigger smile. So we didn't say anything. I said, I got you. I knew they wanted me to take a picture. That wasn't what the look was for initially. So I took their picture. I snapped about 5 pictures for them. I'm handing them the camera, the husband, and we look at each other and we kind of tilt our head like, now what y'all doing here? And we just busted out laughing because they said, listen, you're like the 5th black person we've seen here. What are you doing here? I said, listen, y'all, when I was walking up, I was thinking the exact same thing. What are y'all doing here? So we laughed. It got even funnier because so we're talking, I was like, oh yeah, some of my closest friends, they actually live here and I came to visit them. And I said, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, we're doing this kind of road trip along the West Coast. I said, oh, that's great. They said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Maryland. They said, shut up. We're from Maryland. So how odd, how ironic is it that I'm on the opposite side of America and I randomly meet 2 other people from Maryland and all of us are thinking the same thing. How did you get here? So we had a good laugh. We talked for a bit. And then I said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your trip. And they kind of walked away. And I turned and my friends were all looking at me kind of smirking because, again, they heard the conversation. So my friends are Puerto Ricans. And so they heard the conversation. We just kind of laughed about it. So this is a testament to how vast, how large America is, right? So you can be in America and see one group of people. Depending on where you live, you'll see a certain race or multiple races, but you won't see many individuals from another race. Even though we all live in America, America is huge. So you can have many different cultures within one country because America is so large. Depending on what state you go to, you'll see many different people. So that was a funny experience. It was like an unspoken language as we walked up to each other. We kind of leaned our heads in even more. So it was a great experience. And I actually have some pictures or whatever footage. I'm not going to share it here again because of privacy for them, but it was funny. It was funny. So whenever you get a chance to come to visit America, just remember that America is very big. And you may go to one part of America and not see what your friend who visited a different part saw. All right, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson.